My friends, have you ever wondered why so many people today struggle to remember things that used to come so easily? They walk into a room and forget why they came. They meet someone familiar but can't recall the name. They tell a story and halfway through, the next word disappears like smoke. We're told this is simply aging, but that isn't the full truth. The human brain was designed to stay sharp, flexible, and alive with memory well into our later years. What's causing this sudden epidemic of forgetfulness is not merely time, it's what we're putting into our bodies. The brain is a delicate organ. It weighs only about 3 pounds, yet it commands every heartbeat, every breath, every emotion and idea. It runs on chemical messages, neurotransmitters that flash between nerve cells faster than lightning. For those messages to travel clearly, the brain needs balance, clean blood, enough oxygen, healthy fats, stable blood sugar, and calm nerves. But when foreign chemicals enter the bloodstream, particularly the kind that alter brain chemistry, they begin to disturb this harmony. Many of the most commonly prescribed medications, those found in nearly every home, have subtle yet profound effects on memory. They don't always destroy memory directly, rather they cloud the pathways that memory depends upon. They dull awareness, slow reaction, and interfere with the brain's ability to form and retrieve information. And most people never realize that the pills they take daily to manage one problem may be quietly creating another. Let's take a look at one of the main culprits: medications designed to calm or sedate the body. These include many sleeping pills, anxiety medications, and tranquilizers. Their purpose is to quiet the nervous system, but they do it by suppressing the very brain centers that create memory. When these drugs act on the GABA receptors of the brain, they reduce neural firing, leading to drowsiness and calm. But the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for forming new memories, depends on healthy neural activity. When that's dampened, short-term memory begins to fade. That's why people often say they can't remember what happened the night after they took a certain pill. They literally weren't forming memories. Now, these medications can have their place in emergencies or short-term crises, but the problem comes when they're used daily for months or years. Over time, the brain adapts. It becomes sluggish in producing its own calming neurotransmitters because it's relying on the drug. The natural rhythm of excitement and rest in the brain becomes flattened. The result? Fog, forgetfulness, and a sense that one's spark has dimmed. Another major category to consider is the group of drugs used for allergies, sleep, or cold relief, the ones that dry up mucus and calm itching. These are anticholinergic medications. They block the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which is vital for learning and memory. Acetylcholine is the messenger that allows neurons to communicate in the regions of the brain that control alertness and recall. When it's blocked, thoughts slow, focus drifts, and memories slip away. Long-term use of these medications has been linked to increased risk of cognitive decline later in life. You may have heard the phrase, use it or lose it. This is true not only for muscles but for neurotransmitters. When the brain is prevented from using acetylcholine, it eventually produces less of it. The circuits grow weak. Like pathways in a forest that no one walks anymore, it can take months to restore those connections once the interference is removed. Next, consider medications used to lower cholesterol. While they may protect the heart, they also reduce the brain's access to one of its most essential building blocks, cholesterol itself. Yes, you heard that right. The brain needs cholesterol. Nearly a quarter of all the cholesterol in your body is found in your brain, where it forms the myelin sheaths that insulate nerves and allow signals to move quickly. When cholesterol levels drop too low, the brain's communication slows and memory falters. The very substance we've been told to fear is in fact part of what keeps our minds clear. There are also certain blood pressure medications and heart drugs that may reduce blood flow to the brain. When blood flow decreases, oxygen and nutrients drop, and the brain's ability to form and retrieve memory weakens. The brain thrives on oxygen. It is its lifeblood. Anything that limits that supply, even slightly, affects cognitive performance. Now, none of this is shared to create fear. The intention is to bring awareness. Many of these medications can be life-saving, but when they are used unnecessarily or for too long, the cost may be higher than we realize. What's missing in most conversations about medication is the understanding that the body is an interconnected system. You can't calm one organ without influencing another. You can't suppress one symptom without creating ripples through the whole body. So what can be done? The first step is knowledge. The second step is to support the body in ways that allow it to find its own balance again. Memory loss does not have to be accepted as just getting old. The brain is capable of renewal. It's built for repair. The same way the skin heals after a cut, the brain can grow new connections, strengthen existing ones, and even form new cells when given the right nourishment and rest. The foods we eat each day play a profound role in that process. The brain is made largely of fat and water, and it thrives on healthy fats, particularly omega-3 fatty acids found in seeds, nuts, avocados, and certain fish. These fats keep the membranes of brain cells flexible, allowing them to communicate easily. If those membranes become stiff from processed oils and trans fats, messages get lost. Imagine trying to send a text through a broken phone screen. The message is there, but it can't get through clearly. Another essential nutrient for memory is vitamin B12. It supports the formation of the myelin sheath around nerves. A deficiency can cause forgetfulness, confusion, and even mood changes that mimic depression. Many people, especially as they age, absorb B12 poorly, particularly if they take acid-reducing medications for heartburn or reflux. Those drugs lower stomach acid, and stomach acid is needed to release B12 from food. So in trying to ease digestion, one might unintentionally starve the brain of a vital nutrient. Let's not forget hydration. The brain is about 75% water. Even mild dehydration can cause fatigue, poor focus, and fuzzy thinking. Many people confuse thirst with hunger or simply ignore it. When you wake in the morning, the first thing your brain needs isn't coffee, it's water. A glass of pure water rehydrates the tissues and restarts circulation after a long night's rest. Now, one might ask, but if I stop taking my medication, won't my symptoms return? That's a very important question, and it must always be addressed with care. No one should abruptly stop any prescribed drug. The process of coming off medication must be guided step by step, while supporting the body naturally so that it no longer needs the chemical assistance. The goal is not to reject modern medicine, but to restore balance so that the body can do what it was designed to do. There are natural ways to calm anxiety without sedatives, to lower blood pressure without excessive medication, to improve sleep without chemical suppression. And as we support the body in these ways, we give the brain a chance to awaken again. The fog begins to lift, memories return more easily, and the sense of vitality that once felt lost begins to bloom again. You see, memory is not just about the mind, it's about the whole body. When digestion is poor, toxins build up. When the liver is overburdened, circulation suffers. When sleep is broken, the brain cannot clear out waste products that accumulate during the day. When a person begins to reduce or change medications that dull the mind, the body often needs a period of retraining. The nervous system has to remember its own rhythm again. During this time, it helps to give it the raw materials it needs to rebuild neurotransmitters and nerve membranes. Good food, rest, sunlight, gentle movement, and pure water are the true medicines for this. They work slowly, but they work deeply. The first nourishment for the brain is oxygen. The brain is only about 2% of body weight, but it uses about 20% of all the oxygen you breathe. Shallow breathing, tension, and sitting indoors for hours reduce the flow of oxygen and can make a person feel cloudy or forgetful. A few minutes of deep breathing and fresh air each day can do more for memory than many expensive tonics. Try walking outside, breathing through the nose, letting the shoulders drop. Each full breath tells the nervous system, I am safe, I can think clearly again. The second nourishment is movement. When you walk, especially in the open air, blood moves more freely through the vessels that feed the brain. With each heartbeat, nutrients and oxygen bathe the neurons. Many people find that a simple morning walk sharpens their mind and even lifts their mood better than any stimulant. Movement also triggers the release of growth factors, tiny proteins that help new brain cells form. That means every step you take in the sunlight is quietly building your memory. Next comes food. The body cannot build healthy nerves from poor materials. Each nerve cell is wrapped in a sheath made from fat and protein. If your diet is full of processed oils, sugar, and chemical additives, those materials become part of your brain tissue. Over time, the messages between neurons slow and fray. When you replace those foods with whole seeds, nuts, legumes, fresh vegetables, and clean oils like olive or flax, the brain begins to rebuild its walls from sturdy, living material. Herbs and spices have their place too. Rosemary, for example, contains compounds that improve circulation to the brain and protect neurons from oxidative stress. Sage supports acetylcholine activity, the same neurotransmitter that many drugs suppress. Even the aroma of these herbs can lift alertness. Green tea, rich in L-theanine and antioxidants, brings calm focus without sedation. Turmeric, with its bright golden pigment, helps clear inflammation that clouds thinking. These are not magic tricks. They are gentle daily supports that remind the body how to heal itself. Another layer of memory protection is detoxification. Many of the chemicals we consume or absorb through food packaging, cleaning products, or air pollution interfere with hormone and nerve function. The liver and kidneys work tirelessly to filter them out, but they too can become sluggish. Drinking enough water, eating plenty of fiber, and including bitter greens such as dandelion or arugula help these organs keep the bloodstream clean. A cleaner bloodstream means a clearer mind. Sleep is perhaps the most overlooked healer of all. During deep sleep, the brain performs a kind of housekeeping. It flushes away waste proteins that accumulate during waking hours. If you shorten or fragment that process, those wastes remain and memory suffers. Many people use medication to force sleep, but that type of sleep lacks the natural cycles of deep and light stages the brain requires. You can support real rest by keeping regular hours, dimming lights after sunset, and creating a quiet, cool space for the night. When the brain rests properly, memory files itself neatly. You wake refreshed and clear. Hydration and minerals deserve another word. Every thought you think depends on the movement of minerals, sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, across the membranes of nerve cells. Dehydration thickens the blood and slows this movement. A glass of water with a pinch of unrefined salt or a squeeze of lemon restores that electrical balance. People who do this regularly often report fewer headaches and sharper focus. It is also vital to manage stress. Chronic tension keeps cortisol high, and high cortisol damages the hippocampus, the very region that holds short-term memory. This is one reason older adults who have endured long periods of stress often notice lapses in recall. Learning to calm the nervous system through breathing, prayer, meditation, or quiet time outdoors allows cortisol to settle and the hippocampus to repair. As the fog begins to lift, you may notice that memories return like birds finding their way back after a storm. You might remember details, names, or moments you thought were lost. This is not imagination. It is the brain renewing itself. The mind is plastic. It can reshape and strengthen with each new healthy habit you build. Reading, learning a new skill, or even playing a musical instrument keeps those neural pathways alive and growing. The biggest mistake people make when trying to regain memory is expecting instant change. The body doesn't work through haste. It works through rhythm. Just as a seed planted in the soil needs time, warmth, and water before it sprouts, the mind needs weeks and months of steady nourishment before full clarity returns. Patience is part of the cure. For some, emotional healing is also necessary. Unresolved grief or resentment consumes enormous mental energy and crowds the space where memory should flow. Simple forgiveness, gratitude practices, and honest conversations can free that energy. Many who undertake these inner cleansings discover that their recall improves as though fog has lifted from the landscape of the mind. Avoiding unnecessary chemicals becomes a lifestyle. Read labels not with fear, but with awareness. Choose the simplest products, the cleanest foods, the quietest ways. Let your home be filled with plants, fresh air, and sunlight, rather than synthetic scents and screens. Each of these choices lightens the load on the nervous system and lets the mind stay bright. Finally, be gentle with yourself. Forgetfulness can feel frightening, but fear itself only deepens confusion. Approach this journey as a return to natural order. Every cell of your body knows how to repair. It only waits for you to give it permission and the right materials. With each healthy meal, each deep breath, each night of real sleep, you are writing a new story in your brain, a story of renewal.